Okay, we're gonna go ahead and graph this function, and I have the same one pulled up on Delta Math so we can go through the graphing together. So the first thing that we need to do is factor this. So in the top function, right, we have to multiply to negative 25, but add up to 0. So we're gonna do negative 5 and positive 5. So that's gonna give us x plus 5 and x minus 5. Right, so then we're going to take the bottom and factor it, and to factor that, right, there's no GCF here, so we have to do the split the middle technique. So remember, we have to do a times c in the top, so we're going to do 2 times 15 and get 30, right, and then we're going to get a 13. So 10 and 3 multiply to 30, but add to 13, so I'm going to leave the 2x squared and the 15 at the end alone. But remember, then we're going to split up that middle term. So I'm going to do plus 10x plus 3x. Right, then we're going to cut it in half and take out a GCF. So I'm going to take a 2x out of these two. And that's going to leave me with x plus 5. And then I can take a 3 out of both of these. So I'll put a plus 3 here. And again, I'm going to get x plus 5. So because I have those matching groups, remember, I can take that matching group out front, factor it away, and then I'm left with the 2x plus 3 in the other group. So that's going to be my factoring for the denominator. And when I put that up at the top, you can see that we cancel out the x plus 5s, right? So we're going to get a whole there. So our final function here is going to be x minus 5 over 2x plus 3. And now we're going to use this simplified function to find our 5 features to graph it. So the first thing I'm going to find is my x-intercept, right? We have to find our x-intercept, our y-intercept. Let's make our list now. Vertical asymptotes, horizontal asymptotes, and we do have a hole in this case, so we'll find a hole as well. So to find my x-intercept, right, I'm going to set the top equal to 0. So that's going to give me 5. So I have an x-intercept at 5, 0. For my y-intercept, I'm going to plug in 0. So I'm going to get 0 minus 5 over 2 times 0 plus 3. So that's going to give me negative 5 in the top. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 5/3. Oh, I don't want to put it on top. Okay. Negative 5 divided by 3 is going to give us negative 1.7 about. So that's going to be, right, 0, negative 1.7 on our graph. Right, our vertical asymptotes are going to come from setting the bottom equal to 0. So if we subtract 3, we get 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2 to get negative 3/2, which is the same thing as negative 1.5. So vertical asymptote at negative 1.5. Then we have our horizontal asymptote, which I'm trying to find a color I haven't used yet. Whatever, we'll just go to black. Right, horizontal asymptote, our top power is 1. Right, and we can also move all this work up, give ourselves some more space. Right, we have a power of 1 in the top and 1 in the bottom, so we have matching powers, so it's going to be the coefficient from the front, so 1 over 2, right, which we know is 0.5 as a decimal, and then our whole, right, we crossed out x plus 5, so we'll set x plus 5 equal to 0, so we'll get negative 5. And then I'll plug in negative 5 to our function. So we're going to get negative 5 minus 5 over 2 times negative 5 plus 3. So that's negative 10 in the top, right? 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 3 gives us negative 7. Right, so that's really the same thing as positive 10 over 7. And 10 over 7 on my calculator is going to give me a decimal of about 1.4. So it's roughly 1.4 here. right? So copy that over here. So -5, comma, we'll just write the 1.4 here. Now it's time to graph. So I'm going to switch my screen share over to it so it's bigger here. Zoom in on my answers so they're easy to see. Okay, so if I want to plot my x-intercept first, that's at 5, 0. So hit the button, drag it over to 5, 0. I have a y-intercept at 0, comma, -1.7. So 0, -1.7 is a little bit above the -2. Vertical asymptote at -1.5, so drag that line over to -1.5. Horizontal asymptote at +0.5. And a hole at -5 and then about 1.4. So that's like a little under 1.5. So best you can, hit plot.